Alright, so here's another 2018 release. This is the LG G7 ThinQ. Besides the very awkwardly long name, how does this phone perform in 2018? Let's find out. Now, a few things have changed with this year's model. Starting off, the very first thing is the display itself. We now have a notch very similar to the iPhone. It is a little bit smaller, but it's definitely there. Although LG does give you the option to turn it off. LG calls this the new second screen, and you can go into settings and turn it off or customize it to fit a look you like. Other than that, it's a pretty good display. It's a 6.1-inch display with a 82% screen to body ratio. It is an 1440 IPS panel with a Gorilla Glass 5. But other than that, the display looks pretty good, although I do mind the bottom bezel, which is a little bit thicker than what we're used to in 2018. But an additional feature we do have with this phone is a brightness increase mode, which lets you boost the brightness beyond 100%, which definitely helps you seeing the display better in bright sunlight, and I actually really like this feature. Now, turning around, we have a full glass panel, which honestly feels a little plastic in my opinion, but it is glass. Other than that, we have our fingerprint scanner on our back, our camera module, and a flash and some sensors. And the fingerprint scanner honestly does a pretty good job. It's pretty responsive and works pretty good. And for the camera, I'll get back to it in a bit, but for the actual frame, it's a full metal body. And with this here, we have an extra power button, as the fingerprint scanner only acts as a fingerprint scanner. It doesn't act as a home button or the power button along with the fingerprint scanner. So that's the only button located on the right of the phone, and moving to the left we have our volume rockers, and on the bottom we have an additional button for Google Assistant. So it's very similar to what we see on Samsung with Bixby, and just like Samsung, we're not able to customize the button, although we are able to turn it on and off. But turning it completely off doesn't really make sense to me. That's just having a button that won't do anything. So instead we should be able to customize the button, and we might see something coming up in the future with a software update. Now, other than that, the phone is IP68 water and dust resistant, so you're safe to use your phone in the rain or in the shower, however you like. Moving back to the camera side of things, we have a dual camera setup, and we have a standard lens and a wide angle lens. Now, the wide angle lens is honestly my favorite part on the LG G7 or any newer LG models with the wide angle lens, and I really hope Apple and Samsung decide to use this as well instead of the telephoto lens, which honestly is a little bit useless in my opinion. Besides that, we have some additional features with the camera, such as the AI camera and the Google lens. And just like any other flagship phone, we have portrait mode, which will let you blur your background to give it a depth of field, and you're able to change the intensity of this after the picture has been taken. And for the front, nothing really exciting but an 8 megapixel camera, which is an upgrade from last year. So overall, not bad in camera side of things, pretty good stuff, and it does perform pretty good, and that's honestly what matters here. Now, moving into performance side of things, the phone performs pretty good. I didn't really see any bugs or glitches, so software wise LG has done a pretty good job, and we got some pretty good hardware to make sure the phone keeps performing like this. So just overall, going through the basic specs, we have Android 8.0 Oreo, which is planned to be upgraded to Android 9.0, and a Snapdragon 845. It does come with 64 GB of base storage, and again a 16 megapixel camera for the back and an 8 megapixel front facing camera. Still has a headphone jack, which is really nice, USB-C for charging, a pretty good and pretty responsive fingerprint scanner, and even expandable storage. So overall, LG has done a pretty good job.